Welcome to the Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to the Actor's Choice. Roll it, Tony. Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest today is a living legend in the acting industry. In film and television, he has 226 IMDb acting credits. I'm sure he has more. He made his Broadway acting debut in 1972 when he created the title in the musical Pippin. He has won the Tony, Drama Desk, Los Angeles Drama Critics Circle, Drama Law Awards, and many, many others. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very honored and proud to have this gentleman on our episode today. Please welcome actor, director, composer, singer, teacher, John Rubinstein. Greetings, John, and welcome to the Actor's Choice.
How are you?
Man, I feel
Rubinstein.
good. My heart is pounding.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. So where were you born at, sir?
I was born right here in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. Yes, indeed. I know that place.
Yeah, it didn't look like that then.
There's a question. Beside that, I always ask this question. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, what you just saw on the lead in there, these are the top 10 movies that John enjoys. These are what ones he felt. You saw 5 through 1. 10 was Electric City. 9 is Norma Jean in Maryland. Number 8 is The Quest, The Longest Drive. Number 7 is The Boys from Brazil. Number 6 is Danielle. These are the top movies that you've enjoyed over the years. My goodness. One of the things that I always ask is, what made you get into this business of acting?
Well, I had the great good luck of several things. First of all, my parents loved the theater and loved movies. And so, you know, from my earliest childhood, we would always go to the movies, or when I got a little bit older, go to the theater, and we would see all kinds of stuff. My father was a pianist. He was a concert pianist and performer around the world.
Yes.
So we traveled a lot, and I went to the theater in different countries. But then when I was 7 years old and moved out of Los Angeles and went to New York with my parents, and went to a school there that was for all boys, a British school for some reason. It was all run by British masters, teachers. And those Brits take their public speaking very seriously, as opposed to American schools of all kinds. They do little plays for the parents, and the parents come and go, "Oh, isn't that cute?" But basically, the kids are just sort of standing there and doing gestures that they've learned, and "Oh, isn't that cute?" But at this school, even very, very young, we were made to learn poems and recite them to the entire school body. We did all kinds of different plays. The 8th grade graduating class did a full Shakespeare play every year, full, uncut. And in 7th grade, your homeroom teacher was the director of the next year's Shakespeare play, and you would learn that play. He would teach you all the Greek mythology and the biblical references and all the stuff that's in it, even the sexual stuff. And we were 12 and 13, and we were learning all this stuff. So that by 8th grade, when we actually did the play, we knew what we were doing. We weren't all actors necessarily, but we were all in the play. And he would take extras from the younger grade. So in the 6th grade, I was in The Tempest as a little fairy. In 7th grade, I was in Henry V and had a great little part called The Boy. It's a wonderful little role. And in 8th grade, I was Macbeth, in Macbeth. And so by the time I was 13, I had done 3 Shakespeare plays. I had done a little Mozart operetta. I'd done all kinds of stuff. And I lived in New York, so I was going to the theater all the time.
Yes.
You could afford to do that in those days.
I'm from New York City. I know what you mean.
On my allowance, I could see a Broadway show every week if I wanted to, or 2. Now, nobody can do that. Kids my age who want to be actors are in tough shape in New York.
John, you started your first in 1967. You started in this business out like
No,
a
65.
bang.
65.
Oh, them numbers, I swear. You get them one, I get them, okay. According to IMDb. Here's what they say. They say that Dragnet 1967 was your first IMDb actor credit, followed by The Virginian, The Ironside, all in the first year. All in your
Yeah, well,
first
they're not, sort of out of order. My very first job was in 1965 with the great actor Howard Keel doing the musical Camelot in a little theater up in near San Francisco, and I did a lot of theater with him. I did South Pacific. I did Camelot in 2 or 3, 4 more places. My first time in front of a camera was not a TV show. It was a movie, a Civil War picture called Journey to Shiloh. It was with James Caan and Michael Saracen and Catherine Ross. I had one line, and then I died. But that was my very first time in front of a camera.
I got to talk to these IMDb people. They keep telling me one thing, and I got to correct them real quick, real quick. Your next one, there's a movie that you had called Headless, A Sleepy Hollow Story. That's the latest, according to what they say. This is the latest one you've done this year.
Yeah, that was a little indie movie. Written and directed by students of mine at USC, ex-students. They're now professionals.
Right.
But yes, the the one young lady who helped produce it and was the star of it was in my production of Brigadoon that I directed at USC like 8, 9 years earlier.
By the way, when you say USC, you get my attention. I have a name for USC. I call it SC. Love that.
Well,
I
went to UCLA, so I'm a Bruin.
Understand.
Although I taught at USC, I didn't talk about UCLA too much. But
two great schools.
That's my home.
Got you. 2 great schools. We just happen to have a cut on Headless, A Sleepy Hollow Song. Roll it, Tony.
I haven't seen any of it
You must be Ichabod Crane.
Oh my God, a mayor knows my name.
I'm raising your rent.
I can't afford that.
Then get a roommate. You look like you could use some company.
Do you know about the Headless Horseman?
Who's the headless horseman?
You have, as they say, a listed 226 IMDb TV and film critics, as they say in the industry. Not bad. Not bad.
Well, yeah.
Not bad.
That's because I'm old.
Right. How many auditions have you done?
Well,
that's the question.
That is countless. Because, you know, like in baseball, if you're batting 300, which means 70% of the time you're blowing it,
right?
You have a tremendous average. So I have a pretty decent batting average, but the auditions far outweigh the actual jobs, sadly.
You've had a lot of different roles, and you look at your IMDb, you've got a ton of roles that you've had.
Yeah.
Let's go to something that's very interesting, a play called Pippin. Remember that?
I sure do.
Yes.
We're celebrating our 50th anniversary this year of the opening of Pippin in 72.
I'm sure you're going to be there.
Well, I'll be there actually next year in February. We're doing a big party in a club in New York, 54 Below.
Right.
The actual anniversary is just in a few days. Is on October 23rd.
Got you. Tony, would you show him that picture that we have of John when he's walking around looking good, smiling on his face?
When I used to look good.
Yes. I'm 13. Yes. Okay. There's a picture that I had with you in Pippin. There you go. There you go. The king.
Oh, wow. That's Pippin in 2014.
14, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
1972, I didn't look like that at all.
Oh, my goodness. We just happened to have a video of you in Pippin.
Oh.
Roll it, Tony.
I've got to be where my spirit can run free. I've got to find my corner of the sky. Time to take time, for spring will turn to fall.
There you are.
Well, no. Now, to be honest, none of that was me. That was the 2014 Diane Paulus version of Pippin, not the original one from 50
The guy
years
with the
ago.
white hair, that's not you?
No, that's Terrence Mann. He played Charlemagne in the revival of Pippin that Diane Paulus directed. And after the first year,
Yes.
I took over for him and played that role
Yes.
on Broadway and then on tour. So the still picture you showed, that was me as Charlemagne, but that little promo clip there was the original cast of the 2014.
I'm gonna shoot me
I
some
wasn't
people.
in it at all.
I'm gonna shoot me some people.
That's okay. It was a nice
embarrassing me.
little video anyway.
My God. Question. When are you going to write a memoir?
Well, it's funny. People ask me that quite often, only because I've been around so long and known so many people, worked with them. But really, almost any actor who is sort of my age, in their mid-70s or older, has probably been acting as long as I have and has done as many shows as I have and has known and worked with as many people as I have. So my particular memoir might be a little different because of my father and my sort of European whole different life and in classical music and composing for films. But I just don't see it being that interesting.
Because if you do, I'd stand in line to get one.
Oh, that's sweet of you to say. Thank you.
Definitely. What advice would you give to anyone who wants to get into acting?
Oh boy. I mean, always, it's sort of a cliche with me because I get asked that. The first thing I say is, if you have any other competing or equal interests, geez, should I be a marine biologist because I love marine biology, or should I be an actor because I love acting? Be a marine biologist, because acting is a tough road. Here I am, an old man. I have 5 children and 4 grandchildren, and I'm still hoping to get another job and auditioning and trying to go on and make a buck and pay my rent. It's a tough road, whereas you can get a job in some real business somewhere and sort of have some security. There's no security in acting.
You say you're an old man. You've seen some changes in this industry, have you not?
Yes, I have. Sure. Lots of them. One of the most wonderful things, interesting and fascinating things about working in film and television is the degree to which the people in that industry are constantly modernizing, or constantly inventing new cameras, new ways of film, new lighting techniques, all kinds of stuff. I did a very forgotten episode of a series called The Streets of San Francisco. It was on TV for a lot of years with Carl Malden and Michael Douglas. And it was a detective show. And I was in the pilot of it, the very, very first thing they ever did of it. But then like 10 years later, even when Michael Douglas had already left because he had turned himself into a movie star, there was another guy playing the younger detective cop with Carl Malden. And I was in that episode. I was the bad guy, I believe. And on one of those episodes, a guy showed up wearing this gigantic rig with a camera attached to him and a thing around his waist and a thing and what was that? That was the very first Steadicam. It had not been used anywhere. It was just invented, and they decided to try it out on this relatively obscure TV episode. And there he was running upstairs, following us with his camera. And now it's in every movie, of course. But just things like that, the way the scientists keep developing new techniques is amazing.
What do do people say to you when they see you? Because you're a well-known person. What do they say to you?
They usually say something along the lines of, did, did, did you go to high school? Did we go to high school together? 'Cause they've seen me on a bunch of stuff, but they don't really remember where.
Goodness. I remember I went to aviation high school in Queens.
Oh,
And of course, we used to wear a uniform, and it was nice. It was a nice career I had. It was great. I remember that's one thing about New York City schools. They are something else.
they are.
They
They are.
really,
They
really
just
are.
they have a little adrenaline in them that other schools don't always have.
Gotcha. Here's my dumb question of the day. If you had to do it all over again, what would you leave out or put back in or whatever?
Huh. That's a heavy question because I've thought about that. I probably would have done the same, but maybe I should have or could have taken my music more seriously, gone to a conservatory, taken it, to a different level and been an orchestral conductor
Yes.
and done, played in concert halls, played Brahms and Mahler and Beethoven and instead of doing what I did. I don't know if I would have had as much fun, but I often think that that's maybe what I should have done. I might even have done better.
Wow. John, final question is all I can say is what's next for you, sir?
More auditions and hopefully landing one of them and getting another job somewhere at some point. Right now, I'm doing a one-man play in Los Angeles about Dwight Eisenhower, where I play Eisenhower.
Oh,
And we're in the final rehearsals. We open next week, and that's a one-guy play. I stand there on the play on the stage alone, and I've learned pages and pages and pages of the script, and it's a challenge, but it's a wonderful play,
yes.
and it's great in this really, really dark and troubled time that this country is going through, as is much of the world.
Yes.
It's great to hear the words of an actual American president, even a
Yes.
Republican, amazingly, who had such insight and humanity
Yes.
and accomplishment. We sort of forget about Dwight Eisenhower, and he was yours and my boyhood president.
Mhm.
And he was just sort of there. He was sort of in the background. He played golf. We didn't know. He didn't do much. But now you study the history, and he was one of our greatest presidents. And so it's a sort of an honor and a challenge to
Yes.
portray him and say and recount a lot of his life.
Wow. John, I wish we had more time today to hear what you have to say. Please come back again. We want to
I
hear
would be
some more.
glad to.
Indeed. Thank you. I want to thank actor, publicist Philip Sokoloff for making your appearance possible. That's all I can say is best wishes and and by the way, an upcoming birthday. Happy birthday before you get there.
Thank you, and same to you. Yours is going to beat mine by a few weeks.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Rubinstein. God bless you, sir. God bless you.
Thank you.
This is Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. We'd like to let you know that we're asking our Actors Choice Squad to help us get former baseball player Kurt Flood into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Now, Kurt passed away January 20th, 1997. He was the husband of one of our wonderful guests, renowned actress Judy Pace. All you got to do is call our office at 213-349-3941. That's 213-349-3941. Ladies and gentlemen, we sincerely thank each and every one of you for being a part of this magnificent award for a great baseball player. Roll it, Tony.
Dale kept mouthing off, and I slapped him.
I'm gonna sue.
Just want to ask you for your forgiveness.
Just go home, Ken. Just go home.
Oh, what are you doing here?
No sweat. Working security across town. They cool with me being here, being first responder and all.
Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest today started his acting career over 30 years ago. He was a cast member of one of the original, they called it back in those days, the Chitlin Circuit, plays like The Diary of Black Men. He became a regular on the Ensemble Theater later, and then the oldest African-American professional theater in the South. And he was the first African-American company member of the iconic Alley Theater. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. And this is when we get past so many numbers, I call them veterans. He's a veteran, but he's also a four-time NAACP Theater Award winner. And I would always say, Alex, you know, we say, ladies and gentlemen. Remember we used to do that stuff?
Yes.
I was the voice on that thing, for that program for many years. Please welcome Alex Morris. Greetings, Alex. And
Hey,
welcome,
how are you doing, man?
Welcome to the After Show.
Thank you. Thank you. So glad to be here.
My pleasure, sir. Tell us where you came from. Where you born?
I was born in Chicago, Illinois.
Chicago. Look at that picture we got there. And I was torn between that picture where people in the middle of the city, and then I had a broad overview. I said, give him that one instead. Oh my goodness. Wow.
And so, I was born in Chicago, but in those days, a lot of people were migrating to the rural areas of Illinois out of Chicago. And my father and my grandmother bought railroad boxcars, and built them together. And that was our first home out in a small town in rural Illinois called Pembroke. So I grew up a country boy. I had horses, chickens, all that stuff, man.
Chicken.
Great. Yeah.
Speaking of chickens, you do eat chicken feet. Am I correct?
No.
You have never eaten chicken feet?
No.
Give me your card back, brother. Give me that. Give it back.
My mother used to say she ate the chicken from the rooter to the tutor. I couldn't do the chicken feet. No.
Put down some okras and tomatoes, served over white rice with chicken feet. Oh, make you want to slap your mama.
No. That was not me. No. I had city boy aspirations with a country boy heart.
I'll ask you one more question. Do you eat chitlins, sir?
No, sir.
2 out of 2.
My father worked at Agar meat packing plant, and he used to bring home chitlins from the plant.
Yes, sir.
Man, the things would stank the house up. I said, there's no way I am eating that stuff. No, sir. No way. Not a chicken guy.
It's our culture.
No. It wasn't my culture.
I'm a tail Rudolph. I'm a tail Rudolph. Our mother was a cook, and she could cook up some chitlins. I mean, my mother could do it. Oh, she was beautiful.
No doubt. My father was a great cook. I just didn't eat that stuff.
You just didn't eat it. I understand.
Nah.
That's what made you get into this business. What was that?
It was kind of like by accident. My ex-wife she ran a theater in Houston, and when we were dating, she was going to Northern Illinois University, and I'd always had an aspiration to do it. I mean, I was one of those people who was a bad critic. I could sit in the movie house or watch something on TV and could critique any and everything. And but I always had a desire to do it. And at the time, I was studying to be a paramedic, and I'd already gotten my LPN license to be a practical nurse, and I was going to become a paramedic. And I did a play, my first play in Houston, quite by accident, called Once in a Lifetime, written by the great Celeste Bedford Walker. And they did this, and they paid me very little this. And I said, oh man, this is it. This is it, you know? And I got hooked from there. After that, doors just kept opening, and I think I've said this to you before. I was so blessed.
Got you.
So blessed to be where I am now, and to have the life and career that I've had. I'm beyond blessed.
Did you have any actor training?
I did not. Everything was on the job. And I was very fortunate in those days in Houston. The theater scene was at the ground floor. So everybody was learning from everybody. So I got to learn from everybody. And I was a sponge, man. I always went into everything I ever got to do with the idea that I'm learning from you. I'm learning from you. And one of my best lessons, and I share this story with people all the time, I was doing a play called Medal of Honor Rag. And I did and if you know the play, it's a 3-person play. And I was doing it with a guy in Houston at the time that was a famous Shakespearean actor in Houston. And we were doing it at a small theater. Mm-hmm. And one night we were doing it, and there's 3 people in the cast. There were less people in the audience than there were in the cast and crew. And the guy said, come on, we'll just do it. We'll get it over with and get out of here. We did it, and I could see in the front row a couple sitting in the very front row, and they were sitting very close to us because it was a small theater. We did the show. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't our best show. Went backstage afterward, changing clothes in the bathroom, which was our dressing room, and there was a knock on the door. I opened the door, and it was this couple, and they were crying. And if you know the play was about a man who went to Vietnam, who wiped out a platoon of Viet Cong after his platoon had been wiped out. And he committed suicide by going into a liquor store with a gun that was empty, and the store owner kills him. Well, a similar situation happened to this couple's son, and they came to the play to get an insight on what their son went through before he passed away.
Yes.
And I felt this big. I felt like, how dare I be given something to give to somebody? And because there wasn't enough folk in the audience, I couldn't do my best. So from there, I've always, no matter what, I don't give a crap if it's just a half a person in the building. I'm going to do the best I can. I'm so blessed to do this.
Amen. Amen. You are doing a play right now. Could you tell us about that play?
I am doing August Wilson's Radio Golf at the Noises Within Theater in Pasadena, and it's the last of the 10-play cycle. In fact, August wrote this play. He was dying as he was writing this play. And to me, and I've done all 10 in this cycle, and this one is about holding on to your history, but trying to move forward, or what we conceive as moving forward as a people. And I think it's such a rich and beautiful, I think all of his plays are, but this one for me has been such a new and rich experience. I'd done the play years ago before, but this one, and I think a lot of it has to do with Greg as the director, this one is such a richer and deeper, almost a spiritual experience for us. We had our first preview last night, and I'm hoping that the audience is feeling the same thing that we're feeling as we're performing.
Wow. What's your role? Tell us about your role.
I play Old Joe, who is the link to the past, who is trying to prevent the urban renewal people from tearing down his ancient house, which has such significance throughout the 10-play cycle. And he is the link to the past, but he's also the wisdom of the play. I like to say he's the moral center of the play. And as you can see, I'm playing old. Well, I am old, but I'm playing old.
You don't look a day over 40, at least.
I love you, baby. I love you.
Alex, the 7:30 p.m. performance of August Wilson's Radio Golf on Thursday, October 20th, has been designated as a blackout night. What is a blackout night?
Blackout night, as I understand it to be defined, is the theater's attempt to outreach the African-American community. And I think you know this, Ron. Right. Sometimes we need encouragement in order to get to the theater. You've been around a long time. And I think this is the theater's way of trying to reach a new audience and also to reach out to the African-American community. The one beautiful thing about A Noise Within is that their outreach to the minority communities is extensive, and it's a very welcoming environment. But I don't think sometimes we know that it's there. So this is their opportunity to encourage African-American people and people of all color, not just African-Americans, to come out and experience this beautiful African-American play.
Well, we just happen to have a little video about Blackout. Roll it, Tony.
I feel like the two Black Nights we've had, it's so overwhelming how big the response is.
So, everybody's here to see Sweaty Play.
What's your one burning question you guys have wanted to ask me in a safe space of primarily Blackness?
What do you see for Black folks moving forward as we relate to the theater and the country at large?
Black honesty on major stages has not been allowed. But I think for the most part, in representational media, film, TV, theater, Black people have had to watch what they.
It was what, playwright Jeremy O. Harris who started this Black Night?
Yes, that's what I understand in New York. The theater in Houston, the Ensemble Theater in Houston, they do a thing that's similar to that, and it's not called Blackout. I don't remember what it's called. And then I also know they used to do something called Out Night when it was kind of geared toward the LGBT community. So. Okay. Any way we can get us into the theater, I'm more than happy to
get
promote.
That feeling. Every time when I first met you, I said, "This man has got a great attitude. I love your spirit, brother. I love it. I love it." Okay, the play you're doing previews October 16th through October 21st.
Yes. And we open October 22nd and we'll run until November 13th. And you can get all this info on the website, A Noise Within theater.org.
Wow. So you did do a run October last week? Yes, over the weekend?
We had our first preview was last night.
Oh yeah, how did it go?
It went outstanding. It was great. Great audience. There's nothing like that. I'm not telling you something you don't know. There's nothing like that first.
My audience is for the audience. That ain't for me.
Well. I'm telling the audience, there's nothing like that first time you get on stage in front of the audience. You've done it for the director, you've done it for the designers, you've done it for everybody. Now you get an audience and you know now what's funny, you know now what works. And I'm telling you, man, I've been doing this for so long. There's nothing like the feel of that audience, man. I can't express to people how that. I've done film and television, all that jazz. That's great. That pays the real bills. But man, there's nothing like when you say a line and you hear somebody go, say it, brother. Go on now.
Go on now.
Boy, ain't nothing like that. Ain't nothing like that in the world.
Alex, you and I need to sit down and talk one day. That is one of my bones that I have against actors and actresses. They'll do film, they'll do television, but they won't touch that stage.
Oh, man. I tell you all the time, to learn the craft.
Yes, sir.
Get on the stage. And here, because we do so much of the 99-seat theater,
yes.
You get to be able to do it almost in both worlds. You get the small work because you're working tight, and you also have to project and do the theater thing. So you get to learn both ways. And it's nothing like it. I can't wait to get out there. I can't wait to hear the breathing or to hear the rustling of the program and all that jazz. That just juices me up.
You're playing at A Noise Within, located at 3352 East Foothill Boulevard in Pasadena.
At Pasadena.
I see there's a telephone number 626-356-3100.
Yes, sir.
www.anoisewithin.org.
Yes, sir.
You can get information for. Can you give us one more time? When are we gonna see this? And come on down.
Well, we'll be previewing again Wednesday night. We open on the 22nd, which is this Saturday. And I invite everybody to come in and to hear the words. We are so blessed to have lived in a lifetime that August Wilson was writing plays and to experience our story from his mouth with our voices. Hey, man, you can't beat it. It's a good night and a good time at the theater.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is indeed. Alex, I want to thank you for sharing some of the time with us today. You have done a lot and much, much more to come, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Come back again, and thanks to your publicist, my buddy, Lucy Pollock.
My gal.
Take
care, man.
Take care, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Morris. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm Ron Brewington. Roll it, Tom.
Ron, how are you? You're looking good, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have something very special for you. I heard you, Peter, but I just couldn't talk on that one. It's a political thriller called Farragut North. Now, the writer of this play is Bo Willimon. Can you show that picture for me there, Tony? He's the writer of the play. There he is, handsome young man. He's known for Andor, House of Cards, and other projects. With us today is a veteran actor and director. And he's also the producer and director of this play. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Peter Allas. Peter, good to see you. And I see you brought a few good folks, good-looking folks with you. Welcome to the Actor's Choice.
I brought the artillery.
I see you did. I see. Now, here's a new play that just came out and just in time for the midterms. What does that mean?
Well, first off, it was timely. This was done, I believe in 2015 was the last revival of this play.
Right.
And not too often it's been done. It started the Atlantic Theater Company in '08. And like previously said, it was loosely based on Howard Deet's campaign, and then Chuck Schumer he worked on. And it's all the inside workings of what goes on in politics. And it really caught my eye a long time ago, and I loved his updated version with Grant Heslop and George Clooney helping him rewrite it, called The Ides of March. But this one really I thought was perfect timing. We have the elections coming up. A lot of things that are happening then are happening now. And one of my favorite slides that we have, which opens up the intermission, is a video from right outside Des Moines, Iowa, relating to gas prices. People are already deciding who they're going to vote for. It's exactly what's happening now. So I thought this play was so current, except with a little twist. And I brought along some friends.
I see. Please introduce the friends you brought along with you, please.
Yes, on your screen, depending if it's left or right, I have my lead actor who plays the role of Stephen Bellamy, and that's Chris Wong.
Hi, Chris.
He's got the tour de force for him. He's 2 hours on stage, no break. It's really quite a credit to his talent.
How about the other good people?
In the middle, we have divided with that wonderful, beautiful shirt on, that handsome man of ours, Jack Esformes, who plays the other guy in the campaign, who's working for the other guy in the Democratic Party, trying to hustle Chris over to his side. I call it the devil from Damn Yankees, if you will, but boy, so much fun. And Jack and I worked previously on God of Carnage earlier this year as well, in a more comical turn for him. This is a very different dramatic turn as well. I just didn't see anybody but him in that roll out of the gate. And then, of course, to my right is the wonderful new addition to the Peter Allas Mafia family now.
Yes.
It's Camryn Hamm, who plays our lead ingenue.
Hi, Camryn.
Hi. Molly, who's a young intern in the movie, which I thought was quite effective. They made Molly 17. And I think we still pull off the whole idea of what's right and wrong with, I don't want to say too much, but with what's right and wrong about relationships, whether it be in business or off business time, still within business affairs. And I liken this, I told one reporter, to the Hollywood scene with all these powerful agents and actors jumping ship and agents jumping ship and poaching here and there. But I think it's all in my title. In Washington, politics is Hollywood for ugly people. And I didn't mean it visually, because this is a handsome crew here. But I spent time, 2010, working on a Mammoth play. And my brother worked for the government and left. He felt it was just moving too slow. So that's all I got to say. That's my point of view on it. And I'm lucky enough to have a very different cast from the original production, which was, I don't want to say it was ivory white clean, but a little too sparkly for my money. And now we got a real inside, I think, view of what the political machine is like. So why don't I just kind of toss it over to this wonderful cast, and you can have fun, Ron. Go away.
Peter, I understand there is a real Washington Metro station in the District of Columbia called Farragut North. And the play is billed up as a classic tale of hubris set against a contemporary landscape about the lust for power and the cost ones will endure to achieve that.
Right,
Right there.
If you know anything about DC and the Metro system, it is one stop from the White House.
Yes.
And that's symbolic of what this whole play is about. Just falling short, one stop away, just not there enough. Or you got that view, but you'll never get there. I'll just leave it at that, and I'll let my cast do the rest of their magic, if you will.
I do have one quick question for you. Every time you look up, there are debates and threats and a whole lot of things. Not good. In fact, one guy, I ain't gonna mention his name, you see him every day in the media. I say, hey, what's this?
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary, but hopefully this play, I as a director, I like to wake the audience up, let them know they're sleeping, inform them, make them feel, think, laugh, and cry. And I think they do all that from little I've seen so far with this play, but I definitely want you to think after seeing this play. And I think Chris talked about it. I think on our last weekend, we're going to really give a big push for getting people out to vote. Okay. But it's already there. So that was thankful to my producer, Adriano Aragon, who kind of gave me full reins, my executive producer, and Foursome Productions, which I'd be remiss without saying. They kind of took a back seat, kind of went, here's the money, do your thing. Don't go crazy, though, with the money. but they were very kind. And I guess they're fans of what I do and what I like to do. And again, I must thank, by the way, before I go any further, my other producer and casting director, Michael Donovan. 90% of directing is casting. And I wouldn't have this fabulous cast without Michael Donovan, who I think is the top theater man in the business, among many other things. So if he's listening somewhere there, thank you, Michael, for this wonderful group.
Okay. I got a couple of questions for each member in the cast. Start with the lady. How was it when you got selected for this play?
Oh, it was definitely a whirlwind. It was a fast process. I think my first audition, I was lucky enough to be able to read with Chris in person. And gosh, I was so nervous because I read the play before I went, and I just fell in love with the material. I could not put it down. So I just knew going into that audition, it would be a dream to work with, the cast, and it'd be a dream to be able to portray this character. So yeah, it was definitely a real honor. It was such a fun process. We kind of just, experimented with the scene, had fun with it. And I left thinking like, oh, if I could get into this, it just would be such a dream come true to work with those people. So it was a great process.
Jack, same question, sir. Jack?
Well, for me, first I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you for keeping the voice of theater alive. It's really, yeah, I got to hand it to you. It really is a beautiful thing. So for me, working with Peter, I had worked with him on God of Carnage, so I actually didn't have to. I was fortunate enough where he asked me if I would do this role. He thought I'd be right for it. With Peter, the only thing I'll say is I have complete trust in him. And, we might go at it a little bit with each other, but eventually, eventually he's the eyes. We're up there, we can't see, we can't hear the piece, and we're trying to tell the story. So we have to rely on Peter to guide us, to tell the story in the best way. And I have a total trust in him, and I would do anything he ever asked me to do, any part he thought I was right for, I'm there.
Well, you mean even the play Bad Santa? Just checking.
Yes. But
they'll be talking to each other outside after this is over.
these two other cast members right here, they're amazing. The entire cast is amazing.
Okay. Chris, same question to you, sir.
Well, I was also fortunate enough where Peter, I've known for years. I actually started acting about 7 years ago now, and Peter is one of my two mentors at the theater that I train at. So it's been about 7 years now. He said, Chris, I don't want to do this play without you. I'm thinking about doing Farragut North. You should read it. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll believe it when that all falls into place. And he had called me and said, how do you feel about doing this play up in the Bay Area? I was like, Peter, I love the Bay, but I don't know who's gonna see it. Like I want to focus on everything that's going on down here in LA, because I've only done TV and film up to this point. So when he called and said, okay, we can do it in LA. Here's the theater I'm thinking about. I was like, where is it at? He's like, it's on Lancashire and Magnolia. And I was like, Peter, I live on Lancashire and Magnolia. It was so fortuitous because Theater 68 over here, I walked past it every day in 2020 and 2021. I would always go, walk, get coffee, come back in isolation. And it was just amazing to be able to walk by. The opposite of that. I would walk by and the sign said something like, don't worry, NoHo, we're just taking a break. We're just at intermission. And I had no idea if the theater was going to open again, what was going to be there. And it was sad to see like the theaters closing down around LA and in North Hollywood, especially. And so when he told me it was going to be there and we would be doing, basically the first show there in the space, it was a really big deal to me just to be able to be a part of that revival in theater over here.
Chris, obviously you like doing plays. Can you please tell us your role?
Yeah, I play Stephen Bellamy in the play, the lead role. When Peter asked me to read the script, I was like, yeah, sure, play sounds fun. I've never done one of those before. And then I saw that I had the majority of the dialogue in every single scene. So I was like, okay, work is cut out for me. But no, the guy I play a hotshot political campaign strategist who's making his way up in the world. And we get to see how that plays out in politics.
Okay. Jack, same question, sir.
I play Tom Duffy, and he is the campaign manager for the opponent. And I'll do anything, and I've been in this business for many years. As you see, I'm a lot older than these other two cast members, so that just shows you how much longer I've been in the political arena. It's just what you'll do to win. What you'll do to win.
Gotcha. Camryn?
I play Molly Pearson. She's an intern on the Morris campaign, and it's definitely been a privilege to be able to play her. Really got to dig deep into this role. So she's very eager to learn. She's kind of just starting out in her career. It's definitely a fun one.
Wow. Peter, you got some good people here. You got some,
Yeah, I do.
damn good people here.
I'd be remiss not to mention wonderful actor that I had worked with in God of Carnage. He took over one of the roles. His name is Michael Rubinstein. He plays the main strategist, Paul Zara, which was done by, I think, Chris Noth originally. And he's just wonderful. He's a real nice blend of Kentucky and East Coast, which is exactly what this character is. Maybe it's based a little bit, if you want to say, on James Carville, but I'm sure they're all loosely based on somebody.
Okay.
And he's just wonderful, and it has this sort of slick style to him, charm, if you will. Never sees it coming. And you've got wonderful actress named Amy Mata, who plays Ida Horowitz, who's our New York Times reporter, who feels like she's one of the boys, but is always aware that she's never in the inner circle and she has a job to do. And so ruthless that is, too, from the reporting end of things. And then we also have two wonderful other actors in the group, David Edward Reyes, who plays several different waiters, and a wonderful LA Times reporter in a key scene in the opening of the second act. And then finally, KJ, why am I going blank on his last name all of a sudden? Somebody help me out.
Powell.
Thank you. KJ Powell. Please, too much coffee, I guess. And there's a nice little twist to it. All I'll say is that it was not written for the role of an African-American actor. And he came in and just did a terrific job and made me rethink a few things. And so I was really excited about that. And it adds a nice little twist to the play in this current time, as opposed to, when it was first written, but it has the backspin of, I'll just say, the Obama era, if you will, to it and what's been happening. And like I said, it's a wonderful, they all work so cohesively, this cast. We also have a wonderful cover for Chris in the event that he becomes a huge star and forgets all of our names. So Jackson is on board. Hopefully, I think he's coming up in a couple of weeks. But again, it's an ensemble style piece, but Chris is the key spoke in the wheel. Have to never leave, and it drives you like an Aaron Sorkin, Teresa Rebeck, Mamet play, if you will, and you have to really pay attention to the dialogue. But fortunately, these wonderful actors in front of you bring such life to their characters, and Chris has this, I don't want to reveal too much, but quite a full arc in the play. And I would imagine it's similar to the life that Patrick Beauregard Willimon lived. And it takes it the next step further with his relationship potential with Molly, his friendship or not friendship with Tom Duffy and others. So it's just exciting to see. And if you don't like politics, I think you'll love the play, because you can put it in the medical field, in the law field, you can put it in advertising field, acting, directing, the music industry. And I've seen my share of all of them, and it is the same. Let me tell you, we're the ones that are on the Michael's word Hollywood, but a lot of them are quite dirty business. So come on down, please come see us. We've got at least 3 more weekends: Thursday, Friday, Saturdays at 8 o'clock, a Saturday matinee at 3 o'clock. And I let them watch their football on Sundays. I know Camryn loves her football, so. But anyway, like I said, they're just bringing such wonderful characters to life with such depth and truth to it. And again, because it's not written for someone cast such as Chris and Camryn, and even Jack to some degree is written a little differently. I like our spin on the whole production. Jack brings a more humorous, devilish spin, and again, written so Anglo-Saxon originally. I think this takes, it only adds to what's happening now with politics and makes you look and just forgets race or anything like that, just gets you deep into the idea of what goes on in that political game, no matter who you are and where you are on the ladder.
Gotcha. You've been showing since last Friday, October 14th. How is the play doing?
Thumbs up. We've got some good people. We always could use more, though.
All
I know
right.
people are they're still afraid to come out. Some people for theater, or like Yogi Berra used to say, nobody goes there. It's too crowded. So, come on out. Please support not only us, but other live theater all around. And I think that what you love about our show, which I didn't mention, that the reviewer didn't mention, we have a lot of educational videos and ads. So unlike other shows where we have musical interludes for changes, the actors do a lot of the changing of the sets. And these slides are of real campaigns and real people. So if you don't know much about politics, you'll learn a lot along the way. And you'll get to chat with the actors afterwards. They're very friendly people. They love to come on out and chat with all of you.
That's nice. That's nice. That's real. That really puts you there. We're out of time right now. One more time, where is the theater going to be at and time?
Chris, hit it.
We're at Theater 68 over here on Magnolia and Linkersham. We're running Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 8 p.m. and then a matinee show on Saturdays at 3 p.m.
And you get your tickets at onstage411.com. And my producers will greatly appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank each and every one of you. It's a pleasure to get to know you. Thank you all for stopping by and with these beautiful cast members. Good luck in this run. Full house every time you're out there. Best wishes, of course, to publicist Lucy Pollock. She's a beautiful lady.
Of course. I got to forget. Thank you so much.
Thank each and every one of you. As they say, break a leg, break a leg. I love it. I want to thank our sponsors, Harvey Brandman Photography is an Art, Ron Irwin's Lose Life, The Way to Lose Weight, Larry Buford's book To the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule, State Farm agent Carla Green, and veteran actor Rob Rubinstein, Actor Training School and Actors Space. Much thanks to our guest today, actor, director, composer, singer, and teacher John Rubinstein, actor Alex Morrison, and actor, director Peter Allas, with cast members Camryn Hamm, Chris King Wong, and Jack Esformes. Let me see if I got it. Esformes?
Esformes.
Okay, Esformes. Thank you, of course. And of course, special thanks to our ever-growing audience. Be well. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Ron. Have a beautiful one.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Good.